Mother, dear mother, will look at me now. Can see both the sides of this world, and I can remember the smile on your face just as much as the pain of a lonely girl. Well, mother, dear mother, well, where have you been? Can see the both sides of this world. I can remember the smile on your face just as much as the pain of a lonely girl. I want to dance in the streets until midnight, to laugh till the dawn of the day. And when they ask why I act so strange, I reply, I'm just happy, so happy this way. And sister, dear sister, well, look at us now. Look at the changes we've made. Could we walk straight through hell? It's funny somehow how you sink, how you swim, how you save yourself. So let us dance in the streets until midnight. Let us laugh till the dawn of the day. And when they ask why we act so strange, we'll reply, we're just happy, so happy this way. Well, I used to look back and regret everything. Dark was the color of life. You forget any happiness there might have been when you hide so much hurt deep inside. But life is a cocktail of pleasure and pain. You can drink it or throw it goodbye. And one day you'll feel you can love once again, and the memories of good days will grow inside. Mother, dear mother, well, where have you been? I've been searching your face for so long. I want you to know just how happy I've been. I want you to know that I'm strong. So let us dance in the streets until midnight. Let's laugh till the dawn of the day. And when they ask why I act so strange, I reply, I'm just happy, so happy this way. So let us dance in the streets until midnight. Let's laugh till the dawn of the day. And when they ask why we act so strange, we'll reply, we're just happy, so happy this way. Mother, dear mother, where have you been? Where have you been? Welcome to for fuck's sake, it is Mother's Day in America day today. I know not in Britain, but hey, you know, I'm here. I'm here in California, so it's Mother's Day. And it's a day to celebrate all of us incredible, what can I say, female animals as creators and nurturers. It's in us. It's in our DNA. It's in us physiologically, even if we don't have actual human babies. It's not just a Hallmark opportunity to sell a whole load of cards with really, really insincere messages inside. No, it's not. It's not. It's also a hard day, I have to say. And happy Mother's Day to everybody who does have children and has a mother and is of a mother and loves their mother and remembers their mother, because this is a very hard day for those of us, I always feel, whose mother is no longer with them. And because it doesn't matter how many years pass, you know, it's the reason I wrote that song, Happy This Way, because after years and years and years, after losing my mother so early in life, she left this planet as such a young woman, really. It's so hard to try and remember that person with joy and with great memories, and happiness, it's so much easier, as we know, but hard memories, difficult memories, sad memories are always the ones that really stand out. The happy ones are harder to access. Isn't that strange? Pain and sadness is the easier thing to access. So it's very hard to remember sometimes these people because you're so filled with the grief. But there came a point when I wrote that song, when I did the album Happy This Way, where I suddenly had the clearest, purest memory of my mother and of her being a complete, wonderful, fun, alive, joyful human being. And that's when I realized that actually I was growing up and that I was learning a very important thing in life, which is how to be evolved in myself. And God knows, after years of therapy and years of spending more money than I can even throw a stick at, sorry about that, everyone, but it's the truth. But at least I can part that with you and share that with you. I think this is the idea that it left me with, and that I wrote about in this song, that we all have the capacity to be mother to ourselves. And that's men too, it's not just women. And we all have the ability, but God, this is the hardest thing in the world to do. It really is. There's two things that are really hard: to be in the moment and then to do this. And that is to nurture yourself, self-comfort, have compassion for yourself, and forgive yourself for being a human being, for fuck's sake. And that's what mothers do. That's what mothers are. And I remember learning a very important lesson from one of I haven't had that many therapists, but one who said to me, imagine yourself as a child, and imagine how you would feel, towards that child, and be that way towards yourself. Anyway, I'll go into that a little bit more later. But it's the mother now that I'm going to tie in to what I can only say is something that that Sue Flood and I and many of us have in common. That is the ability to feel nurturing and like a mother, and to bring out all those loving things in us, we childless women, for our animals. Yes, I hear you all whooping and cheering at down the phone. And it's incredible how animals allow us, especially our pets, allow us to be indulgent and mothering and kind and compassionate and dear and sweet. And I think about Aretha and Franklin, who you saw in that fantastic, that was this morning, they were looking that way. They look like conjoined twins by the bum. They're joined by the bum. So it's very difficult to get around. But truly, they allow me to be just like an absolute idiot simpleton with them. I'm so in love. But the truth is, scientifically, we know this. They've done studies. When you look at your dog and when they look at you, we both creatures, both animals, them and you, humans and dogs, they release a chemical that is the I'm in love chemical. It's the feelings you get when you're in love. And that's what you get when you look at your dog and when your dog looks at you. And that's why they wag their tails and go berserk every time they see you. You can understand that. And who else would do that, after the sex has grown tiresome? And that is what ties us to the last part of this incredible three-parter conversation with the wonderful Sue Flood about her passion for and her relationship to and her career with filming and photographing, mostly photographing wildlife and animals. So let's pick up where we left off, talking about her time spent with the incredible emperor penguins. Those images, remember, of equal parental nurturing and care that fills us, the viewer, I believe, with joy and motherly love, no matter what sex you are. Take it away, Matt.
Let's talk about this most remarkable book. The first thing that I saw, Cold Places, which, if you don't know it, viewers, I suggest you find out as much as you possibly can about it, because it is simply miraculous. And it's so moving, so beautiful. And then here we have Emperor, the follow-up, The Perfect Penguin. And I know that we like to anthropomorphize animals and to, there's a reason that happy feet and all that kind of stuff, which, that's a different subject altogether. But I mean, we do love penguins, but there's something miraculous about these creatures. Is it how hard their lives are? Is it how astonishing they are as parents? Is it because they mate for life? What is it when you are around them? What is it that touches you the most about these extraordinary creatures?
Well, I think, just going back a couple of pictures, I mean, they are extraordinarily beautiful. It's the fact that they have evolved to survive in this extraordinarily extreme environment. They'll be walking miles and miles and miles, maybe up to 100 miles, to get food to feed this little chick. And they just lavish so much attention on their single offspring. And that we've seen images of them all where they're huddled together, and the fact that the father, the male penguin, is left in charge of that egg, incubating that egg in these temperatures that are just so extreme, nothing else could survive in there, while the female goes back off to feed and will just care for that egg. And there they all are huddled together. I just think
I think it's they symbolize this selfless love, this existence that is utterly selfless and all about caring for their offspring. And I think that's something that touches our humanity. It touches that need in us, that place in us that yearns for that, wants that, knows that that's what we all want. And I think there's something extraordinary about that. And I see that in all your, I mean, that's what I see in all these photographs. And no wonder you fell in love with this particular environment.
Well, I think we need to encourage that same selfless love in our husbands, actually, Jude. This is a good idea. Yes, that's giving me an excellent idea. But,
it's not with our Labradors. Can we start with our Labradors? Because I think at least they can look at me as being the greatest thing on earth and, live to please me.
And you are. And so, when I did this book, my big treat, as I said, when I was lying in that tent, I'd get into my sleeping bag, I'd put my headphones on, and my big treat every night was listening to Michael Palin's audio diaries. And I was very, very lucky to share a trip with the utterly lovely Michael Palin a few years ago. And when it came to the book, I asked Michael if he would kindly write the foreword. But I didn't want to ask him in person because he's so ridiculously nice. I thought he'd feel compelled to say yes. So I wrote to him, and he memorably said, I would be delighted to utter some words of slavish devotion. And he wrote this foreword, and then even more nicely interviewed me at the Natural History Museum for the book launch, which was terrifying and fantastic at the same time. And one of my top 3 moments in my entire life was a couple of nights later, and Michael had his own book launch for his wonderful book Erebus about the expedition of Sir John Franklin and the ship Erebus, and David Attenborough was at that. And so I was at this drinks party thing beforehand, and I got a copy of my book. And in the acknowledgements, the first chapter is, the first paragraph is thanking Michael for writing a foreword. And the second paragraph was all about basically saying what David Attenborough meant to me and how it inspired me. So I had this extraordinary moment that I grabbed. And I always say, the best moments of my life have been, grabbing the opportunity and holding your nose and jumping. And I said, David, I'm never going to have the chance to do this again. And please, can I just do something? And I held onto his arm, got the book out, and I read this paragraph out to him about what he meant to me. Having known him now for, over 30 years. But it was just a very special thing to be able to do that. And, lucky me. And tying up my favourite things of Michael Palin, David Attenborough, and Emperor Penguins all at once.
I was there at the National History for that talk with Michael Palin, and it was in fact I was on the front row staring right at you, and it was a wonderful, wonderful event. But there's no doubt, and any Brit, anybody, and any American, anybody in the world who loves the work of, and I'm calling him Saint David Attenborough at this point, knows how unbelievably important he has been to nature, wildlife, and how unbelievably important you are, and people who do this, and people who bring us these images and connect us with the things that are so important on this planet that we should be cherishing and taking great care of and protecting. Now, oh my gosh, look at that. Now, tell me what moving forward, and then I'm gonna get to the bit that I like the most, which is how I changed your life. But first, what is next for Sue Flood? Look at their stamps. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's lovely seeing your images used, for example, on magazines, and it's great to have them used on these stamps for the British Antarctic Territories.
Wow.
It's really rewarding and this is for a campaign that is hoping to help create the world's largest marine protected area and largest nature reserve in the Weddell Sea. So, of course, it's really rewarding to get that sort of recognition or whatever. But I guess the thing that really drives me is trying to take thought-provoking images and get interested in the natural world and in its conservation, and of course engaging with all these wonderful creatures and their habitat, because that's what we have to do, because if we don't engage with it, then it's going to be too late, and we don't want to be just looking at pictures of these things. So that is what drives me, I guess.
And of course, this brings us to your favorite animal, wild animal.
Of course. For
fuck's sake, it's me, Judith Owen. Now, I can only say that when I met you, I knew how remarkable you were, but I didn't know quite how remarkable you were. But it was a love fest right from the start. And I've always had, I've always loved being photographed as a moving animated creature, as a wild thing. And look at your photographs. I did very cheekily say, hey, Sue, I know really that your true gift is in capturing the greatest creatures on the planet. But how do you feel about taking a photograph of me, please, for an album? And you did. And you were here right at the beach here. And you did, in fact, indulge me and do the thing that you do, which is just to grasp the creature. I mean, without sounding too over the top, but that's exactly what I wanted. It was just sort of like, it was like, how I look, how I am, just to do that. And it was for Ebb and Flow. Yay. And I will always love. And here's actually how it ended up. Of course, the photographs are everything, but I just texturized the cover of Sue's most stunning photo, because it was a throwback to like 1970s Laurel Canyon and the music I grew up loving and kind of emulating. It was the first time, again, here we have another connection with Leland Sklar. This is the first time that I worked with Leland Sklar, because I wanted to bring back that sound, as you know, Sue. So you were on board, you knew what it was, you knew what the whole thing was, and we had such joy in making that and doing that. And those photographs were just stunning. I use them to this day. They're miraculous. We have to do more of this. But in response to that, imagine my joy at then being able to go to Botswana with you, Harry and I, to go to Botswana, as I've said, to have the most remarkable experiences with you there, to see that guide, your true passion as a guide, when you're talking about introducing other people to places and animals that we need to protect and might not be with us if we don't do something radical very soon. Your joy and enthusiasm and the love that you feel being with you in seeing the natural world is a remarkable thing. And I know that COVID has obviously stopped that. We haven't been able to do that. But what's next for our Sue Flood? Is it as I know you already do, is it photography? Is it teaching people how to be wildlife photographers? I know once things calm down, you'll be back out there taking people around the world and introducing them to the great animal kingdom.
I will be back out there, but there's lots of massive downsides, and we've all been affected by COVID in one way or another. It's obviously prevented me traveling, amongst other things, and I've really stopped and had a serious look at how I'm living, and I do want to not have such a massive carbon footprint. I want to, I guess, live a simpler way, and I will still be doing the occasional foreign trip to places like Botswana or the Antarctica, wherever. But I've just moved with my lovely new husband, more of which later, but just moved to near the Snowdonia National Park in Wales. And I'm going to be doing a lot more teaching in the fantastic country that I hail from, and just amazing landscapes, amazing scenery, amazing wildlife.
Yeah.
In our garden, we've got dippers, sparrowhawks, woodpeckers. It's fantastic. Amazing.
And you're right. You're right in Snowdonia area. I mean, that you're nudging up against it. So you're in the most profoundly beautiful part of Wales. I know I'm biased. What can I say? But I mean, obviously, it is extraordinary. But now, speaking of Chris Graham, I do need to finish. We need to finish this story as it began. Which is, there he is. Well, I have to say, one of the only, I've been a shit fixer-upper of anybody in this world. I've never, ever managed to get anyone on a blind date or to introduce people to each other without it being a devastating disaster. I mean, literally, I'm the kind of woman that would set you up with a serial killer and not know it. So I'm not the person to do this. However, my greatest success when it comes to love and connection was with you and your adorable husband, who is so fantastic, Chris Graham. And I do want to just ask you to just tell us the story, because I love how people meet, but this one's a corker, please.
It's an amazing story. So I had posted something after I'd been to stay with you in Santa Monica and taken those pictures for Ebb and Flow, and posted something on Facebook and said, this woman's amazing, you've just got to hear this. I was contacted by Chris here. Chris was my little friend at primary school, and I hadn't seen him for 37 years. And the last I'd heard, after he got in touch with me when I was working at the BBC, and I was married and living in Bristol, he was married and living in Manchester. Anyway, he wrote and said, hi, Sue. I've just listened to Judith's album. Oh my God, she's amazing. What an incredible voice. And I wrote back and said, well, look, if your wife doesn't mind you coming along with me for the evening, I've got 2 tickets to go and see her at Cheltenham Jazz Festival. And he wrote straight back and said, well, I'd love to come, but actually we've split up. So he and I were both single, but there was as I say, I haven't seen him for 37 years. So this is us coming to see you at the Daffodil, having seen him for the first time in 37 years. And Hidley and Harry the same night, obviously clearly in the days before I stopped dyeing my hair. And we had this fantastic evening until the next day. Chris was obviously blown away with your performance. As you can see from this shot of him paying you quite a lot of attention on the underground when he walked past you. Anyway, about 2 months later, we started going out, and interestingly, he proposed to me after 4 months, and we ended up getting married shortly afterwards. He proposed on his 50th birthday. We got married on my 50th birthday, and here I am in a very, very elegant way, zip-wiring to our wedding, and we actually got married on the beach in Necker Island. And as I say, we'd met at primary school when I was 9, and as we're both Welsh, here are little dragons on our wedding rings. And here on the inside, as you can hopefully see, 1 in a million, and the date of when we got married. So
1 in a Million is the song that was on Ebb and Flow. I played it at that night, the Cheltenham Jazz Fest. That resonated with you, I know. I knew immediately when you called me up. I really pissed on your sparkle. I do recall with you calling me up and saying, "You'll never guess what." And I said, "You're getting married." And there's nothing worse than a know-it-all like me that does that. That was just absolutely appalling. But I just knew, sometimes you just know. And there we are. This is like where we started at Mardi Gras. We were also there, of course, with my dear friend, who I know has become a dear friend of yours now, the fabulous Rachel Lee in Melbourne. But it's an extraordinary thing and such a rare thing. I feel so amazingly touched that you would put 1 in a million on the inside of your wedding rings. I really, really would. But it's a beautiful story, and somehow there's only one person, there's only someone like you, an adventurous, an explorer, somebody who absolutely loves to be going out, finding, seeing, tasting life. I mean, really risking, would zip line to your own wedding, which by the way, I know at the end of it was standing one very famous man called
Richard Branson.
Throw that one in. Yeah, I couldn't compete, but all I can say is it's been a gorgeous time knowing you, and I know that post-COVID you'll be back to some of your slightly lesser carbon footprint, I know, doings and goings on, and I think you and I and Harry and Chris will go out and do some exploring together. That's my dream anyway. But in the meantime, bring us as much as you can of the beautiful North Wales and Snowdonia. You are a remarkable woman, and I cherish you and prize you highly in my life, because you do something that that I look at and am in awe of. I think most of us are. It is a privilege knowing you and seeing what you do, that you bring that thing, like I said, that is so important to us. And that is, you said you wouldn't cry. I said I wouldn't cry. Not the Oscars yet, don't worry. But no, really, it's a remarkable thing. And for those of us who rely heavily upon nature and wildlife and the things that we that we need so badly, and as a reminder of all the things that might be lost if we don't, as Dave Attenborough says, as you say, as these pictures prove, this is, we treat it as our dominion, but this is a place we should protect, nurture, and take care of. And so it is. It really is a remarkable thing that you do, and I thank you so much for showing the, for fuck's sake, I can't believe I'm talking to Sue Flood and seeing all these gorgeous things, audience, because it really has been a joy. And so now all I know is that what's left for us to do, apart from the fact that I'm going to sing you out or play you out on 1 in a Million, so that you get what this is really about. But I'm also going to say that I can't wait to get that song, Your Beautiful Face, recorded, and actually to do that video together that I spoke of, so that we can get that out to the world, and many more, and maybe do different areas and different type climes and different territories and animal life. That would be a wonderful thing. Maybe we can mix the Great White Shark with some A&R men from the music business. That would be great. And we just put them next to each other, because it all would make sense. Anyway, Sue Flood, you're a marvel. Thank you so much for joining me. And
Jude, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for so many amazing memories and such an amazing husband. And look, there's a dog in the background.
Hey, let me show you. Come here, girl. Hey, Aretha, come here, girl. Let's show Sue. Aretha, come here, baby. Can you come up on my lap? Oh, here we go. Whoa, oh. She's quite heavy now, but she's a beauty. Here's Aretha saying, for fuck's sake, this has been a very wild, I can't wait for you to meet them. What can I say? Look, there's a woman you're going to love. Thank you so much. See you very soon. Thanks, Sue.
All right, thank you. That was fabulous. Thanks.
Oh, old friend, what you been doing with your life then? With all of those plans you figured out back in those high school days. Now you come clean, how much you struggled with that one dream. Chasing your rainbows wasn't what it seemed, and it didn't all go your way. When others were growing, you're still pale. When others are glowing, you feel stale just watching your gossip TV. Don't live looking out on the other side. Don't live thinking everybody's got it easier. Even if the sun is shining where they're standing, you know you're one in a million, so go out and live your life. So you're a big joke, the way you've been moving like a slow poke. Your glass isn't empty, it's just plain heartbroken. You're starting to fade away. You're a landslide, crumbling slowly from the inside. Riding it bareback 'cause you've got your pride, and they'll never see you sway. And each day somebody's winning, and it makes you feel like you're only beginning. So don't live looking out on the other side. Don't live thinking everybody's got it easier. Even when the grass looks greener where they're standing, you know you're one in a million, so go out and live your life. Oh, live your life. Oh, 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 oh. Don't live looking out on the other side. Don't live thinking everybody's got it easier. Even when the grass looks greener where they're standing, you know you're one in a million, so go out and live your own life. You're one in a million, so go out and live your own life. You're one in a million, so go out and live your life. Ooh. Live your own life. Woo! I'll do the whoops for you. I can hear Sue Flood and Chris Graham going, woo! Yeah. We are all one in a million, but nothing could make me happier than knowing that song is what really stuck in the brains of those two people and that ended up on their wedding rings. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. For fuck's sake, that is ridiculous and so touching. But I mean it most sincerely. And on a day like today, Mother's Day, when we are all so fortunate, let's be honest, to have had a mother. Well, we wouldn't be here without one. But those of us who still have our mothers here, for gorgeous Maria Segundo, for all the people whose mothers, for your mum's around, isn't she? For everybody that still has a mother, cherish them, enjoy them. They'll drive you crazy. They'll drive you to distraction. But you know what? When they're not around, you surely do miss them. And for all of those of us, and Gabriella, there's there who I saw, which is so fantastic. But for all of us who have lost their mothers, and I see so many amazing friends today coming up: Rachel, Sue, my own darling Susan, my sister, my beloved sister, who is mother and sister and best friend to me, to Leland, to everybody that has had that experience and misses their mother desperately. Maureen, all of us in this world. It is a day to cherish those memories and to get past the grief and to remember those wonderful women, and for everything right and wrong that we all do, because we only do as well as the tools that we have at that time, to be grateful for having those moments with this person who gave you life. Ultimately, that is the great truth of it all, and thank God for it. It's so good to see Lisa Lowe pop up there as well, who I haven't seen for the longest time. Lisa, love you, darling. So good to see your name popping up. And I've been watching Mike Waddington. Happy birthday to your daughter for her second birthday. That's fantastic news. It's so important, that song, to me, because it's a continuation of the mother thing. You know what I said about earlier about learning to be mother for yourself? Well, what I wanted to tell you is about this therapist, and I will give you this to free. I won't even, I'm not going to even charge you for this, even though I spent a fortune. But what she told me was, to nurture the child inside, because if your own child was undervaluing themselves, self-annihilating, low self-esteem, felt left out, felt like everybody else was getting on with life and doing well, like that song talks about, your mother would be telling you, one would hope, very differently, which is not to blow smoke up your ass, but to say, you are unique, you're an individual, you have your own talent, your own gifts, your own beauty. This, to be your greatest cheerleader. Not all mothers are like this, of course, but, that really is what being a mother is about, I believe. And so I think the idea that those of us who now are without or never had that or don't know how to do that, I think that is, I said there's two very hard things to do. And that is to be your own mother, because you wouldn't let your child go through that. So if you imagine yourselves, as this therapist once said to me, as being the child, still that child, that young you, to get a photograph of you as a little girl or a little boy. And remember, that person is still in there, always will be till the day you die. And to take care of them like you would if you were their parent, their mother. It strangely does help, because it gives you something that we all struggle with having, and that is compassion and kindness, forgiveness, as I said earlier, for being human, but mostly for that thing that you feel when you look in your dog's eyes, the dopamine rush of love, when you look in your baby's, when a person looks at a child, when that feeling that I will never know, but I certainly do when I look at my Labradors, as we know, and that is just that absolute love. And I think that's something that we struggle to feel for ourselves. That's where all the self-loathing and the doubt and the voices and everything come from, and that's a very, very hard thing to do, but it's something we all need to learn a little bit more about. So that's what that song was about. And like I said, 1 in a million, we are all 1 in a million. We are all really out there by ourselves. We are all coming unique and special in our own ways, and that is the damn truth. So now, you special individuals, I'm going to look and see some comments here. Yeah, nurturing the child within. There you have it, Rachel. It's the absolute truth, my darling friend, my dearest friend. Stephanie Rood, who I saw yesterday. We're going to get to that in a minute. Yeah, we absolutely have to take care of ourselves. Thanks and more thanks to the brilliant Sue Flood. I don't think that'll be the last of the interviews that we do together. I feel like there's more, and I certainly want to talk about the Botswana Chronicles, when we went to Botswana together, and to talk about that and talk about the astounding things that happened when we were there. I could just go on ad nauseum. So let's do that next. And in addition to actually, putting that video together with Sue's amazing, inspiring photographs. But thank you so much, Sue. You're incredible. You're an inspiration. David, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It's not over yet. There's more inspiration coming. Joel, thank you. Melissa, yeah, to everybody. Let's all be very, very, very grateful for what we have had and what we certainly can learn to be for ourselves and to others. Now, I just want to say that a big shout out once more to my fabulous super fan, top fan, MG Cairns. Do we have that photograph of him giving blood again in his For Fuck's Sake t-shirt and hat? I'm sorry, this is just like, I have to somehow get some kind of a blue Peter badge. Only the Brits know what that means. I have to have a Judith Owen badge. RuPaul's got one. It's just a Ru Peter badge. I have to do a Jude Peter badge. Thank you. I have to do a Jude, excuse me, bra strap. Jude Peter badge I have to give out to people that send me photos like that. It's for fuck's sake. Look at the man. He's amazing. And speaking of 1 in a million, and this is where I cleverly tie it all together. I tie this all together. We go back to Leland Sklar because it just so happens, and that's why I said about hello, Stephanie Rude, because I met her for the first. I see Welsh flags. David Gummery. Oh, Shemai love. Anyway, so yesterday I went to Leland Sklar's book signing. And I had the single best time seeing my bard signing, doing his thing for that incredible Everybody Loves Me book, which I'm hoping you've all bought by now. And if you haven't even, and that was me being very British, haven't, I hope you will. But here's a little, excuse the sound of the traffic, but here's a live from yesterday at the Leland Sklar book signing. Take it away, Matt. I'm here with Leland Sklar.
Where?
It's true. It's his book signing here in Burbank. I've actually left the beach to come to Burbank. That's how much I love this guy. Now, I bought the t-shirt so I can wear the beard. And
I have it on.
And I brought the book. It's in here. Do you want there you go. Show this, Lee. Show. And there it is. And I can only say that I am thrilled to be in this book so many times, giving off the finger, and that my dad's in there, my sister's in there, so many people I love. It's just the greatest. But we're also thrilled for Lee, because this is, you know, he's been abusing and upsetting people for so long now, and just pissing everyone. Shut up! Shut up!
Jesus.
Fuck you.
Okay,
And it was time to bring out a book of real love for this guy. By the way, when I was over there buying the t-shirt and the book, I got a ping, a text came up, and it said, "Real women want big dicks." So I just want to share that with you. It was almost like it was meant to be.
I think
That's
my
all
car's here.
It was literally, I got a text from some, I got a text, so rude. I got a text from some, make your, anyway, that, memories of Yami, my friend. Memories
Oh God,
of Yami.
I miss Yami.
I miss Yami too. But anyway,
You
congratulations.
need to do a
Zoe.
whole thing about Yami and maybe show the funeral
That's a
and
book.
everything on one of your fuck sakes.
Why don't we
That would
do
really be
that?
great. And maybe the pictures from it looking out the
Oh my
window.
God, why don't we do that?
Just
Okay.
dedicate a show to Yami.
All right, we're going to do a show
We
to
could
Yami.
even dig Yami up. Ooh,
Oh,
no, maybe
oh,
not.
Maybe not. Yami was an actual yam that we took on the road, and well, we'll tell you the full story another
Yeah,
time.
don't give anything away now.
Probably only, but it has something to do with enormous dicks. So anyway, Leland, I love you.
I love you too.
Congratulations.
She's the best. I love doing her show. There's nothing better on the planet than being with Judith Owen. That's what you wrote, I think.
That is what I
Yeah,
paid you for.
thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I mean, really, honestly, I did have a text that came up and it said, "Do you need a big dick?" I'm not joking. As I was at the anyway. No worries. Yami is another story. I got to get Lee in here. We got to tell you the story of Yami, who went on the road with Lee and Pedro. Hi, darling Pedro, and I on the road. A giant yam in the shape of a. Scared the ladies in the audience. We loved it. Anyway, we took it everywhere. I even smuggled it into America, and it's buried in my front garden. Anyway, that's a whole. That's another for fuck's sake. But let me tell you, what a joy to be with Lee and to actually, I was doing the right thing, as I tell you to do. I was still wearing the mask. I'm vaxxed. It doesn't matter. By the way, those lovely things on my hands to protect my hands when I'm driving the car, because I'm a pianist. A pianist. Some idiot came up to me and said, "Oh, those are interesting. Are you a karate teacher?" "Oh, those are interesting. Are you a karate teacher?" Actually, is what they said. Anyway, so we'll get more of Lee back. He's going to come back. We're going to talk Yami. We're going to do more music. There's going to be more stuff going on. But I just had to show you that because it was such a joy to share that with you, let me tell you. So now, until Wednesday, I can't cram any more into this show, but I just love, I hope you're enjoying all these bits and all the information and having such variety, which is the spice of life. So again, my love and thanks to Sue Flood, to Chris Graham, of course, just because I love him, to Leland Sklar, to Matt Midland, woo! And to my mother, your mother, mothers, me as a mother, the mother inside, mothers. That's it. Happy Mother's Day, USA. I will see you on Wednesday. going to sing you out with 1 in a Million. Love you guys. Look after yourselves. I'm looking like, yeah, you go. Sylvia, Melissa, love you guys. True, Rachel Lee, it was a Viking burial and it's got Wagner going along with it, but it was Viking. So I'm going to be seeing you all very soon. Take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Masks, vaxes, you know the drill. And I'm going to take you out on 1 in a Million. Bye, guys. Stay safe. I love you. Don't live looking out on the other side. Don't live thinking everybody's got it easier. Even when the grass looks green or where they're standing, you know you're 1 in a million, so go and live your life. You're 1 in a million, so go